Oh boy, brother. Do I have an amazing meal for you today that I've cooked up for you? Because this story is one of my proudest stories of my entire life. You see, it is a it shouldn't come as a surprise that I've been watching YouTube videos ever since I was like 4 years old, right? I've been on this website for so long. I'm literally like the master of this website. The first time that I joined here was around late 2010 to early 2011. And back then, it was a whole another place. Yeah, sure, I still watch some YouTubers in my mother tongue, but primarily, I prefer to watch people speaking English. I don't know why. Maybe it was just that there was more content about it, and back in like 2010, YouTube wasn't really widespread in Eastern Europe, so there weren't many that YouTubers. Of course, there were still some that spoke my mother tongue, but bro, when I just went onto the English side of YouTube, it was like a whole another world compared to my side of YouTube. Of course, I started to watch more of my mother tongue side of YouTube, but yeah, for that time, I prefer to watch some of the English YouTubers, which is something that I retained for years to come. And so I grew up with English for most of my life instead of my mother tongue, which of course I still understand my mother tongue, don't get me wrong. I still like to speak it in my free time, not because I have to, but because I want to. And it is a really enjoyable tongue, and it is very poetic. And so that led me to develop the skill of knowing how to speak English at such an early age. I remember that when I was just like 10 years old or like 8 years old, I was already watching full on Five Nights at Freddy's Let's Plays and full on Minecraft Let's Plays and stuff like that. I remember understanding it fluently just by watching those YouTubers for 5 years straight. That's how languages are learned. You just shut up and you observe the native speakers for years. That's why many people fail to grasp any other new skill. It's because they just run on motivational highs, and when they even get a success, they will feel this phenomena that I'm about to describe. Because my English at level 11, at at age 11, I was meant to say, was so good that I was already considered like early B1 level. Because around this time, I was still in my primary school, and there was this really nice teacher that liked me a lot, and she gave us this presentation that we had to create. It was basically like we would take an A4 paper, sheet of paper, and we would have to write about something, basically anything that we wanted to, like a whole project. And so let me tell you, bro, around this time I was heavily influenced and I was heavily interested in topics like the universe, like history, and I originally wanted to write about something like World War One or something like that. But what I did instead was write about the scale of the universe, preferably about the scale of our observable universe. So, like, how big is the Milky Way galaxy? How big is our solar system? Where is the closest star near us, to like set an example of how much 4.2 light years are actually in like real kilometers. You understand what I'm trying to say. And so, oh boy, on that night in early 2018, one day before we were gonna have to present it, dude, I fucking cooked. I still remember it to this day. I was writing for like an hour straight without using Google Translate a single time. I was writing all of it from pure memory alone. Through all of the vocabulary that I had available at that time, I was just writing it. And keep in mind, I didn't use Google once. I wrote all of those facts about the universe just like that. I was literally pulling them out of my pockets. That's how insane that was. And let me tell you, bro, that delivery that I did on the next day, it was priceless. That teacher was extremely proud of me. Because keep in mind, this was still like 2018, and you have to keep in mind that Eastern Europe is, yeah, really far behind when it comes to the Western world. Not in a bad way, because of course, all of the modern trends originate from Western Europe. So by the time they actually get popular in here, and keep in mind, this was still in 2018 when the world wasn't really that modern as it is right now after the pandemic. It took a long time for people to get used to English in my country. By that I mean like the common folk. Of course, like Many of the people, like the YouTubers and like the people of the 1%, already knew how to speak English fluently, but uh, the 90% of people, and especially the bottom 50% of the people, they didn't know a single bit. So, of course, it was a huge achievement to know English that well back in 2018, especially when you were an 11-year-old, because many of my classmates still didn't knew how to speak English. Of course, they still know. Of course, they know now, but even back then, they weren't the best. I was one of the best, and I made an excellent example of it. And so, the female teacher, dude, she literally still remembers it to this day, and she sometimes brings it even up. And so on that day, I got two A's because she was running on an emotional high. And I didn't do a homework that she gave us the day prior because of how much immersed I was in the project. But she forgave it, of course. So that was a huge win for that day. And she even said that I was gonna present it to like higher classes, to like people who are basically like grade 8 and grade 9, basically like who were about to leave the primary school that I was going to at that time and move on to like big middle schools. And back then I was like, bro, these guys are like 14 to 15 years old. They are so advanced. What the fuck? Yeah, it was a small world for me back then, but I was really proud of all of those achievements. And then after I presented all of that, nothing came of it actually. Nothing. For years to come, no one would acknowledge that achievement. Literally no one. I was literally going on about my daily life, and no one brought it up. Not even the our head teacher that I had at that time, who was really proficient at Slovakian language. She is really an intelligent woman, but she didn't bring it up a single time. She didn't even acknowledge it. No one supported me. None of my classmates. They didn't do anything. And that kept me of being stuck. Yeah, sure, I still had that female teacher who supported me no matter what, but it wasn't enough. All of the surroundings. I saw that this was gonna be like a new beginning. I saw that I was gonna level up. I was gonna get the respect from other people. I saw that this is what I needed to get a new feedback loop that would get me to being one of the most proficient students at the school. I saw that everything would change, but it didn't. And this is exactly what happens after you achieve success. Whether it is in any kind of skill, whether it would be discipline, willpower, productivity, resilience, speaking English, playing a musical instrument, doing I don't know, a martial art, you have to remember that when you achieve success, 90% of the people won't care. 9% of people will act all good in the moment, but like for the long term, they will envy you and they will want to have nothing with you. And then there will be the 1% of people, the few people that will remind you of that achievement. Because you see, what happens is that when you get a success like this, the universe will try to hammer you back in. Not because it is something personal, but because it wants to stabilize a frequency that you have right now. Meaning that the frequency, the emotionally charged thoughts that you have right now, your beliefs, your identity that you have about yourself, the universe will want to keep you in that state. So your current mindsets that you have that are holding you back, when you try to challenge the authority and go against the 99% of people and make something good for yourself, the universe will literally see you break the the linear graph. And when you like slowly like make a bump and you try to grow finally exponentially to something greater because you're finally on self-evolution, you're doing all of the good habits and stuff like that, it will try to hammer you back in because it wants to keep you in that healthy baseline. And that's exactly what happened to me. The universe will create all of these surroundings. It will use your surroundings, it will use people, even your family, to keep you in this baseline. Because what is really, really sinister is that the universe will make you forget your past achievements. This is something that you should be really mindful of. That's why you need to remind yourself of them each and every single day. I know that we as humans, and especially as timeless readers on self-evolution, that are becoming the best possible version of ourselves each and every single day that we can become in this life. We are so self-critical. We analyze all of the things that we got wrong. We analyze all of the life lessons. But what we must remember is the achievements that we made along the way. This is something that I struggled with for a long time. You see, for most of my self-evolution career, for like the past year and a half, before I truly realized this, I was just waking up every single day, feeling like I had achieved nothing yesterday and that I was a complete loser. Now, of course, this mindset is very powerful for productivity in the short term, but for the long term, it can be very dangerous because you will try to outwork yourself, you will run on motivational highs, but nothing will come out of it. You will just feel burnt out and you won't want to continue. That's exactly what will happen to you. That's exactly you you will basically crash. You will think that your surroundings are changing just because you had one one powerful moment of fame, for example, and you can use this as a source to prove to yourself that you can make it, that you can finally get their respect. And so you must remember that you must focus on remembering your wins also by focusing on the right people that actually remind you of who you are and what you have achieved. This is the phenomena that will happen to you after you achieve success. You'll become so self critical, and your past selves, like your old beliefs, your old identity, your old thought processes, they will try to hold you back. They will use people like family, fucking family, even your surroundings. So, like, uh, something shitty will go wrong, and now you won't have time to study, for example. Your family will say something to you. Online business? Dude, I did that like 10 years ago, and it didn't work. And then when you look at his past, you see that he'd never even read a single book on entrepreneurship, for example. Yeah, you must really watch out for this. This is a huge, broad topic that we could talk about for hours on end. I just simplified it to be the best. So, like, for now, just remember that the universe, it likes to remain a healthy baseline, right? Because if that success that you had back then was something that was gonna drive you forward, then everyone would be successful, right? Everyone gets those 5 minutes of fame at least once per life, right? So everyone would be successful. But you must remember is that you must retain these beliefs that you had at that moment, meaning that you literally felt like you were on the top of the world, right? You felt like you could do anything, that anything was possible, because on that day, I felt like, of course, I could study for any kind of subject. Like, I tried hard at this for an hour. I legit just threw everything that I knew. I was learning all of these new memorizing techniques through learning about the universe, and all I had to do was just apply them to the subjects that I had at that time, and I could have been an A student from that point onwards. Who knows? Who knows how my life would have looked like now? But I'm really proud of the person that I am right now, because I've had many successes in the past, basically my entire life, actually, and that I'm really proud of them. So remember your past successes and let them make you into the best possible version of yourself, and use the beliefs that you're on the top of the world, and it doesn't matter how you get to your desired reality, it matters that you know that you'll get there. Because the frequency that you output when you know that you will get there, when you just keep that one line of code inside of your head, the universe will literally rearrange your surroundings over time to build up your mastery, to build up your success for the long term. It will all come together. All you must realize is that the universe is trying to get an emotional reaction out of you. It is trying to destroy you. It is trying to get you off of this beautiful frequency that keeps bringing you success and happiness because it likes to have a healthy baseline. But you have broken that baseline and you must create a new one for yourself. You must stay in this new frequency so that the universe has that as a new healthy baseline for you, right? That's just how it works. So write down right now in the comment sections of this video 10, it doesn't matter how big or small they are. It doesn't matter. Just 10 wins that you had through the course of your entire life. 10. Just 10. I don't care how long it takes you to think about them. Just write them down in the comments, and later when you're journaling, write them down inside of your journal and meditate on them each and every single day. So whenever doubt comes, whenever your worries, stress, and all of these other negative emotions come, you can just remind yourself of the person that you are. And that will bring you to your desired reality. That will bring even more success. And it will destroy all of the entities that are holding you back. It will make the universe acknowledge your new baseline because you are the creator of your reality. And when you succumb to the tests of the universe, you are giving it the power. And it preferably wants you to stay at that baseline that you were before you started all of this. So you must take hold of your reality. You must see everything in a positive light. You must acknowledge all of these new frequencies that you had. So taking the frequencies that you had during the success and apply them to your everyday life, and the universe will soon make a new baseline for you. All of the people, all of your family will soon enough stop testing you, and you will be free towards new, higher goals. Okay? If you want to learn about healthy mindsets that will guarantee success in the long term and in the short term by mending your mental health and bringing you on the right path, no matter what, no matter the life tests, no matter the goal, then I highly suggest that you should go check out Timeless Reader's Mindsets in the description. It is truly something life-changing, and you would be an absolute fool to miss out, especially with the discount that is happening over there right now. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching this video, and remember, no one is better at being you